Empathy. Empathy. Here we go. The ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. What does that even mean? My peeps are going to need to know more than that. Oh, hey! Keith the Counselor here. Today we're going to talk about empathy. What it is, how to practice developing the skill, and appropriate times to use it. The first thing to know about empathy is it really is a skill that we all have to practice and develop on a daily basis. And it can be learned by anybody. Most of us, when we learn about empathy as children, were probably taught the phrase, put yourself in someone else's shoes. Or, how would you feel if that happened to you? And I think these are great, and if you use them, I think it's a really great way to kind of start the discussion of empathy and to get our kids thinking about someone else's perspective. Empathy is defined as the ability to understand the thoughts, feelings, or emotions of someone else. But there are other ways to kind of look at empathy that we can practice ourselves and that we can also model for our kids. And a lot of times the kids watching us model it and having those conversations can help them actually learn it too without even having to explain it to them. My favorite way of practicing empathy is when I'm driving. It's a great opportunity if you think about it. You have people rushing to work, you have people in all sorts of states of minds and emotional well-beings, just behind the wheel of a car, pushing it, trying to get somewhere. And a lot of times the natural reaction, at least I know for me, being from the great state of New Jersey, or not so great state, depending how you look at it, it's really easy for me when someone's rolling up to do the classic like, oh yeah, you think you're gonna get past me? Sort of thing, and I get locked in this fight or flight mode. But I know that when I can sit back and relax and be like, you know, there's times when I'm rushing to work because I slept through my alarm. I got you, babe. And that never felt really good. Maybe this person's going through the same thing. So now when I look at somebody else and I start to get in that mode, I just casually glance over and I try to have empathy for that person. And what if you're thinking, Summers, what if that person really is a jerk and they're self-centered and the only thing they care about is themselves and they're rushing to work and they're making me mad? Well, you're probably right. But is that really giving us a chance to practice empathy? I know sometimes when I can look over at someone and I can try to guess what they're feeling just based off my own experiences, it helps me relax. And it's a real simple way to practice empathy. Another great and safe way you can practice developing your empathy skills is watching a movie or a TV show. Watch for characters that are experiencing some sort of emotional turmoil. Maybe they're overly upset because they just broke up with someone.
We could have had a good life together, a real good life. Had us a place of our own. But you didn't want it.
Maybe they're scared because they don't know what's going to happen. They just lost their job and they have to go home and they have to talk to their wife or their husband and let them know what happened.
She'll understand. She's an amazingly understanding woman. I'll just come home and I'll say, hi, honey, we have to move to a studio apartment. I hope you don't mind.
Maybe their kid was supposed to call at 5 p.m. and they haven't yet, and the parent is really worried.
Rose, it's me, Rod.
Hi.
Where's Chris?
This little exercise is a great exercise you can do with your kids too. You can pause it when someone's really upset and you can ask them, you can say, wow, look at that person on the screen. What do you think they're feeling right now? Why do you think they're so upset? Then you can look to them and say, have you ever felt like that? Have you ever been in a situation where you were broke up with somebody? Or have you ever been in a situation where your friend betrayed your trust? How did you feel when that happened? What's great about this activity, it's a really safe way to get people to start talking about their feelings and emotions. And I like to think by doing that enough, these skills do start to transfer over into our daily lives. And the third tip I'm going to leave you with for practicing empathy is just listening. Really actively listening and doing our best to listen in a non-judgmental way. And I want to mention too that what we're talking about is really hard. The ability to listen to somebody and leaving our judgments behind to create space for them, it's hard because our brains were wired to problem solve. We're wired to want to give our opinions. Sometimes when somebody's really vulnerable, it's really hard for us to create emotional space for them because it might be hard for us. Maybe it triggers something within us. Think about a time when you went through something really challenging for yourself. Maybe you lost your parent, maybe you've lost a loved one, maybe even just a pet. And just think about what that experience was like. And now think about, was there a friend, was there a spouse, or somebody you confided in that just listened? They didn't give you their opinion. They didn't try to sit there and take away your moment and make it their own. To me, that's a really great and simple way to look at empathy. You're just creating space for somebody. You're letting them be vulnerable, and you're being vulnerable enough yourself where you're following what they're saying. You're not leading what they're saying. You're not taking away from what they're saying. And most importantly, you're not making it about you. You're staying 100% focused on whoever's talking. So let's look at what's not an empathetic approach and what happens when we lead the conversation. Hey Sam, come on in. How's it going? Well, pretty good. Pretty good? Well, looks like you're upset about something. Anything you want to talk about? Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me. I'm still doing this thing too. Do you mind? I'm gonna type on here while I'm listening to you. Is that cool? Okay, great. At school today, Sarah told my friend I liked her, and all the kids made fun of me. Oh no! I remember a similar situation when I was your age. My best friend told this girl that I had a crush on, like everything about it. Oh, it was terrible. But you know what I did? Yeah, I found some new friends to hang out with. It was all good. Tell you what, why don't you go outside and just play around a little bit or play some video games, take your mind off things for a little bit, and I'll see you at dinner. Okay. So how do you think Sam felt after that conversation? Did I look distracted? Did you notice all the typing on the iPad? No eye contact was really made. I wasn't really present. That's really not a good way to create space. And I took control of the conversation. Like I made it about me. I took a more sympathetic approach. Did I have good intentions? Sure, I was just trying to say like, hey man, I've been there before. I know what you're going through. It'll all work out. It'll be fine. But I think the problem with that is for the kids, it's a real intense situation. Maybe it's the first time Sam's friend did that to him, betrayed his trust. Maybe he hasn't experienced that yet with his friends. It's always important to remember that to these kids, sometimes it's the first time they're experiencing these things. They don't have the skills yet to work through it. One of the greatest gifts about empathy and creating space for someone is you're giving them an opportunity to get their thoughts out of their heads. You're helping them process their feelings. Hey Sam, come on in. How's it going? Well, pretty good. Looks like you're upset about something. Anything you want to talk about? Well, give me a sec. Let me just put this away so I can hear what you're saying. Well, at school today, Sarah told my friend I liked her, and all the kids made fun of me. Your friend Sarah told your friend you liked her, and all the kids made fun of you today, huh? Yeah. I left the room to go cry in the bathroom to get away from everyone. Sounds like you were really upset that Sarah betrayed your trust. I was. I mean, I still want to be friends with her though. I just don't know what to do. Totally makes sense that you're feeling confused. Sounds like you really value Sarah's friendship, but you just don't know why she did what she did. Exactly. We have such good times together usually. What do you think I should do? I'd love to have the conversation with you. Maybe we can sit down after dinner and brainstorm some ideas of what could work. So with following, what I try to do is I tried to summarize what he was saying so we could hear it back. He didn't necessarily say he was upset, but when I was summarizing back to him what I was hearing, I tried to give him that as like an emotion. So he could be like, yeah, I was upset, and just try to get him to keep talking. And sometimes, you know, when you're doing this and you're creating space and you're trying to summarize what the person's saying, it's not uncommon for the kid to turn around and be like, that's not what I'm saying, or that's not how I'm feeling. But the beauty is 9 out of 10 times they'll come back and be like, what I'm saying is this, or what I felt was this, which is great because what you're doing is you're giving them the ability to tap into how they were feeling, what they were thinking at the time. Even if you were wrong, who cares? Like the fact that you're trying and that you're engaging and you're listening to them and you're summarizing back what you're hearing, you're helping to give them some emotional vocabulary that they can use to help identify how they're feeling. Well, like they say in the movies, all good things must come to an end, at least for now. I hope you've enjoyed this empathy video, and I hope you've gotten a couple of good strategies from it and a couple of good ways that you can practice it. Like always, there'll be a PDF below this video that has a summary of what we talked about. There'll be a sheet for the strategies we talked about that you can practice. And I'm also going to attach a PDF that has some great empathy phrases that you can use if you're struggling trying to figure out how to put this all together. And as always, if you like the content in this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment about any other topics that you're curious about and you want to learn more about, and share it with your friends. And as always, much respect and much love to you all out there. Parenting really is the hardest job in the world, so don't forget to give yourself some grace and some ease as you try and apply these new strategies. This is Keith the Counselor. Until next time.